Today, I'm stepping off the main roads to find something quieter. I wander through Tokyo's back roads and hidden streets, searching for the right scene to paint, and I'm looking for a subject that shows everyday life for the locals here.
Konnichiwa. Oh.
ここね、駐車パーキングなので。
Oh.
Sorry.
1時 1 hour?
1 hour?
取ってない
そうですね。
はい
ごめんなさい。Sorry.
ごめんなさい。大丈夫。So I got kicked out of that last place and I'm disappointed because I was excited about that scene. But I found this other one. Hopefully I won't get kicked out of here.
I'm painting in a little community within the massive megacity of Tokyo. It's a place that no tourist would ever stumble upon. But if tourists only knew what this area was famous for, perhaps there would be a lot more visitors. It's relatively unknown and overshadowed by bigger tourist attractions. But this neighborhood has a little secret. This neighborhood is the birthplace of something that has captivated the world: Japanese anime. This little corner of Tokyo, called Oizumi, is Tokyo's oldest animation roots. Toei Studios is here to this day, and some of the most famous anime was made here, especially between the 1950s and 1990s. These include anime like Dragon Ball, Sailor Moon, and perhaps the most popular and beloved anime series of all time, One Piece. Since I first started painting, my mind has shifted from grand landscapes to smaller scenes. For me, plein air isn't always about iconic views. I know it sounds cliche, but I'm looking for the beauty within the ordinary when I choose a subject. I could choose to paint a famous landmark or tourist attraction that everyone would know instantly, but I've settled on this little shop. Most of the businesses on the side streets in Tokyo are mom and pop shops run by Japanese families, sometimes passed down from generation to generation. This isn't too different from life in any other place. It just so happens that this is the largest city in the world. I get a sense that this is a tight-knit community, like any other neighborhood in some small town somewhere. These shop owners have regular customers, and the locals walk this same road to and from the station every day.
The local train bound for Plein is arriving at track 2.
I've only been living in Tokyo a few months, but I've already noticed that finding places like this to plein air paint in the city is challenging. So the way I was set up on this road was probably not ideal. I was right up against the front side of an apartment building, and so I was nervous that I was going to be asked to leave again for the second time today, but Fortunately, no one ever came out and told me to move. And that's part of the struggle with painting in the city, is that there's very limited locations where you can actually set up and have room to paint. So oftentimes when I'm walking down the street, I look at a place and I think, oh, that'd be a great place to paint. But then I look around to see if there's a place to set up, and more often than not, there isn't. So you can't only think about finding a subject when painting in a city like Tokyo. You also have to take into consideration your workspace, and will you have enough room to work, and will you be out of the way? Painting in a big city like Tokyo is full of challenges. Hopefully this painting can convey in some small way what everyday life in Tokyo is like. It's not quite as I imagined it. Even though the city is massive, it seems like there are little neighborhoods that make up the city. So a place like this is a neighborhood and a town all of its own. It just so happens that there's another town right next to it. So it does have a homey feel while it's also a big city, which is kind of strange and not what I expected. So for the locals here, most everybody depends on the public transportation system. Most people ride buses and trains every day. In fact, most people don't own a car. There's no need to own a car. Oh, and I was so focused on painting that I almost didn't notice these people walking in front of me with costumes on. And I don't know what costumes they're wearing. It looks like maybe it's some sort of anime, which would make sense given the location. But if you know what costumes they're wearing, drop it in the comments. I'm curious. While I'm working on the inside of the store, I'm trying not to be too detailed. I mean, I just want enough, but I don't want to be able to know what things are. I want it to be a little bit abstract. And so there are places where I'm just rolling my brush a little bit, trying to get some texture, trying to make it look like there's some shadow and depth and there's random items, but I'm definitely not being detailed. And it was about this time that the wind started really picking up. By the time I finished, the wind was so strong that I was afraid I was going to lose my painting walking home. I thought the wind was just going to blow it right out of my hands and off the easel. But I did manage to get it home. So for these final details, I'm working with a brush that's slightly too big. And I did that on purpose. I didn't want to use a small, tiny brush and get caught up in trying to make things perfectly detailed. Again, I don't want to be able to read the actual writing that's on the sign that I'm working on. I don't need to have the kanji and the hiragana accurate. I just need to be able to understand when viewing the painting that there is writing there. And that's all I want to communicate. Okay, so this painting took a little bit over an hour, painted on location, on the streets in Tokyo. And if you got something out of this video, please give it a like, it really helps the channel. If you want to explore more streets in Tokyo and come paint with me again, subscribe. I'm pretty happy with how this one turned out. It's a little bit messy, which I like, and I've been trying to paint more loose lately. So thanks for watching, and come paint with me again sometime.
All right, it's 3 p.m. and I haven't had lunch, so on my way home.